Not Highlander. Tell me it's not Highlander. What the hell is that nonsense, Highlander?
Hey!
What nonsense is it? What
It's the book
nonsense?
Michael. It's the book Michael was telling us about. All about the making of Highlander. Haven't got reading it yet, but look forward. Cheers, Michael. Thanks very much for the heads up. Didn't know such a thing existed.
Didn't know it was. What are you on tonight? I'm on this. I'm on this. Am I round the right way? Yes, you're around the right way. Am I round the right way? I don't think I am. Can you see that?
Of
Is
course,
that
I can, yeah.
is it
Hunter Island.
is it mirror image?
I don't know, Justin. I don't know.
Is the right and the wrong way round? It
Really
is. It is.
Anyway,
Is it better now? It's better now. You can read it the right way around now. So yes,
mine's just opened down there, Hunter Island, our Tasmanian friends.
yeah,
Over. They're
yeah,
pot still.
it is. Yeah,
Yes. So, yeah, tasty enough stuff it is now, I have to say. It's,
unusual.
well, yeah, I would say it is unusual. That's why I'm not really casting a verdict on it at the minute, because I have to let it sit for a wee minute. Sean McClenaghan's in Monkstown. Huh? He's all the way across, from Newton Abbey, London's and Newton Abbey. All the way over from Canada.
Or Canadia,
Canada.
as it said in Kiora there, or whatever. So yes,
Aye.
I think you're maybe going to try and catch up with them during the week. I probably won't unless they want to catch the flu or whatever it is I have, because my voice sounds.
Justin's got the lurgy.
I have,
Nah.
yeah, I have,
Away
yeah.
from Justin. He's got a cowbell around his neck.
I like the way Sean McClanton says Monkstown when we all know it's like Jordanstown that they're in. I know. There you go. Big numbers watching tonight already. Remember to comment, like, and share. It's free to subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. Tell all your friends. There's Jody Burke. We haven't seen him in a couple of weeks, have we?
Was Jordy? I thought Jordy was here a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know.
From Potato Island. There he is. We're
Yeah.
saying hello to us.
We missed we missed last week. That's right. Peter Galbraith is saying, welcome back. But we had a good reason, because we had a really good night with multiple reasons last week. I thought I had a hangover, but we obviously didn't have that much to drink. So we did it a fair bit. People were surprised at what you opened at the end, weren't they?
Well, what we did was we opened a Dunval's Port Morant bottle. The 18-year-old Port Morant bottle, the one from the Guyana distillery rum casks. So yeah, we opened that up.
That's what you missed.
Aye, it's a nice one to open now. It's a nice one to get open. I've had it before. I had it before at the opening of it, and I kind of thought, well, these guys have all been watching the show for ages, and we got it opened up. So that was nice. We enjoyed it. I like that. It was nice.
It was nice. I think people were like knocked back. You know, in one swig they got their money back. Basically, isn't that it?
Yeah. I think if you were buying it in, I think Stanley said he paid 60 quid for a shot of it in the Merchant. I think he paid 60 for a measure of it in the Merchant. Big shout out Stanley as well. Top man he is.
Yes, he was very good. The food was
always is. Yeah. Always is superb. That's the reason they've been open so long. They opened the year England won the World Cup. Just in case, and if you're not sure,
no, but they lost it. They lost it.
Well, put it like this, it's not as bad as the Spanish. They won it, and then some guy gave a girl a wee peck as a thank you or a wee celebration, and now he's getting done for sexual assault or something.
Yeah.
Yay, big celebration. Yay.
I know.
Talk about pissing in the pool there, you know. Anyway.
Yep. There you go.
It's all good. I picked up one of these this week.
Oh
yeah. Look,
does that say Hill Street on it?
It does. I'll probably pop down to the man in Hill Street and see if he wants to pick it up off me. Take it off my hands. That's anything that says Hill Street, Belfast, and Bushmills is probably a bit of a winner with him, you know.
Okay, lovely.
We'll take that down and give it to him this week.
Very, 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 very nice. Much of that, I mean, they're highly collectible, aren't they?
Well, that dates from 1930s. Well, I suppose it depends. If it's horses for courses, it wasn't.
Couple of hundred, maybe. Yeah.
I didn't pay that for it.
All right.
Just
Very
for
good.
that.
Very
No,
good.
no, I got any of that kind of stuff. I'm always keeping an eye out for the museum down at Framingham
Yeah.
for stuff that you might be interested in.
Yeah. That's
So,
what that was the middle visit. No, the third visit was to the friend at hand. People got to see the museum there last week, and I think it really had the wow factor for them, didn't it?
Anyone who says it doesn't have the wow factor really needs their head examined. You know, if you if you can appreciate what's there and what he has done. Well, I don't mean to be cheeky, but there's probably no hope for you. You're a total Philistine.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm.
Now, Trevor Watson saying hello. Good evening to you. Remember to comment, and we'll bring you in the show as well tonight. So, actually, quite a packed show tonight. Oh, there's Big JJ. Good evening, gents.
Hey.
Thanks for coming up last week. Thanks for coming up last week.
Really nice seeing you. Hope you go home safe. I do apologize. I've been sort of flat out all week. I've got various bits and pieces. I've pokers in various fires last week, and I sort of meant to catch up with a couple of guys later on. But
I think I managed to chat to everybody. Obviously, you were a bit more preoccupied as master of ceremonies, and I was able to chat to everybody. I think the only people I didn't chat to, I chatted to on the train on the way home. So that was pretty good. So I had had a wee chat with everybody and got to hear their whiskey story, which is certainly it. And Big JJ's Big India's military history the same way as Michael would be as well. So very good.
I think those two were debating everything from the Battle of Passchendaele to the retreat at Mons. You know,
and was it really Himmler that died? Or did he really die? That thing. What's this in my pocket?
No,
it's my car keys. Do you know it was that bad tonight that I only had 2 slices of pizza, Marty? Do you think I'm ill?
Just now, I possibly think you need vaccinated against all known human diseases. For you only eating 2 slices of pizza, I think you're at death's door.
Do you know what my record in pizza is?
Probably a lot more than 2.
16 slices of pizza once. So many, and it takes so long to come that Pizza Hut had to give it free. Do you remember? You had to have your lunch in 45 minutes, so you got it free. Well, I actually beat the system, and it was 1994, 95, and I ate 16 slices of pizza free.
How's the diabetes going, by the way? Ever know, right?
That was all right then. It was all right then, but I'll tell you what, that Pizza Hut is now closed down. That is how bad it is for it, you know.
I'm not a big fan of Pizza Hut.
I had 4-star tonight. It was delicious. Delicious.
I had a wee Chinese. Did beef curry and chips tonight. Didn't have one this week, so that was the.
Did you not eat them last week? No.
Oh no, I ate the Chinese. I haven't had any since
I thought you were talking the whole time. Let me see who's saying hello tonight. Andy Tolan saying hello. Amazon Bushmills 10 from 2 weeks ago. Very good. Yes.
It's a no-brainer, Andy. It's a no-brainer.
It
is a no-brainer. Yes.
£5 or whatever it was. Yeah.
Murray doesn't tell it until he's ordered one in case it runs out of stock.
Yes.
That's a secret.
Oh yes, there's no point in firing all your guns at once, son. You have to hang on to something.
No. Frank Hearn is saying hello. Let us know what you're on tonight. Sleeve. Oh, anyone here lucky in the sleeve league? Oh no, wasn't lucky. I mean, I just like it for the ball alone. The ball's fantastic.
Well, we'll talk about that in a wee minute. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yes, Thomas. No, that's what Marty says. It wasn't 2 slices of pizza cut in half and touched. No, I mean I had 2 slices of pizza that was cut in 8. That's how low.
Justin only had a quarter of a pizza.
Yeah,
that has probably never happened. Not since Justin came off the SMA formula milk has that ever happened. You know.
Oh, thank you for. I'm old enough to have been on the SMA's formula. I'm not actually. It was out after I was born, but there you go. No, I don't think anybody's been lucky enough. I mean, there only is like 150 balls or something. Isn't
there's 100. As far as I'm aware, there's 139 bottles. 39 of which I think 39, don't quote me on this, but there's 39 of them being kept for investors and so on and so forth, and 100 were up for ballot. But we'll talk about this in a wee minute.
Very good.
So we
very
will.
good.
But
So
yeah,
they didn't have Liam Neeson on their team, so they lost.
who?
Navy.
Aye. Well, last Saturday while we were out cavorting in Funds and Frolic, Notre Dame were playing Navy down in Dublin. And I have to say, nearly 40,000 Americans travelled across to see this. Now, someone told me this stat. I'm not sure whether this is 100% right or not. That it's the largest exodus of Americans for a sporting event in history. It's something like the biggest movement for an event since World War II. Now, I don't know whether that's right enough or not, but
All right.
a phenomenal amount of people coming across to go to Dublin. Now, it's a big rivalry, apparently, Notre Dame and Navy, but I think Navy's down the pecking order these days. I think it used to be a much more level playing field.
Even Stevens, yeah.
Even Stevens, but Notre Dame have sort of pulled away.
Should we tell them the result? There we go. Look at that there.
42-3. That's not good. But it was sponsored by Teeling. And I have to say, the Teeling branding for all this stuff looks absolute. I mean, that looks class, doesn't it?
It does. There's the Phoenix,
Yeah.
and there's Teeling and whiskey on the ball. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that looks sharp as anything. They brought out a commemorative bottling. I'm led to believe the bottling.
Wow.
It's not for general sale, which is it would have been nice to be able to pick one of those up. Not for myself, actually, for a friend of mine. But no, it would have been nice to pick that up. But I think it is only there's only a few bottles of it made. But yeah, that would have been a nice one. And there we go. That's a guy down in Temple Bar getting ready to pretend to admit that he's an American tourist with a helmet on down around Temple Bar direction.
I think they all do that.
Well, you might need it with a helmet on down around there, from what I'm led to believe in the press. But I think 40,000 of them would probably safety in numbers, shall we say?
Yeah.
But yeah, down around Temple Bar, bring your own bottle to Temple Bar. I would concur with that. That's a good idea, because the prices down there are just—it's not even funny.
I think you would actually get escorted off the premises.
Oh, I think without question you would get escorted off the premises. But yeah. But another funny thing happened, Justin, because Notre Dame's such a big club that it actually has its own podcasts. So there's people do podcasts dedicated to Notre Dame and how they're getting on. And there was one of them was broadcast last week. But there was a little bit of an accident in it, Justin. Now, these guys have had 3 million views on this. I think we could maybe do something similar, Justin. I think that's something that we could do. Do you want to play the video?
I'll show it. What do we see? What do you see this here? Can you guess what's happening here? Guess what's happening here. Where do you see this?
Fire it up. Right. Watch his face. Oh dear, something's happened. Something's gone wrong. Oh, up, run. Run quick. That guy's, they've had 3 million views of this.
Yeah.
Because the man's crapped himself live on the podcast.
Yeah. And he actually, look at that. This is what he said.
No, that's his partner, Justin.
Yeah.
That's his friend trying to cover it up. He sort of tries to legitimize this because the guy had Taco Bell.
I've had Taco Bell and it's never had that effect in me.
Well, Justin, so I'm just thinking, just you keep it to the 2 slices of pizza, buddy.
I know, yeah.
Up and running. Yeah. I think he's had what's called follow through. Yes.
Well, that's one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen, actually. But there you go.
Just to share the link if anybody.
Yeah. There's the link there. If you want to look closely at that and share it with your friends, give it another 3 million shares. Work away there.
Well, the only thing I would say is, surely you'd crap with yourself if you were Navy at the thought of getting beat total whitewash.
I know. Oh boy, it's not good. Not good at all.
No. Now, so something just fell there, but I don't know what. Anyway, Sleeve League. Aye, we touched on it there a minute ago. Sleeve League held their ballot for the Kilcar release, the first of their own whiskey from the Ardra distillery. Only 139 bottles, as far as I'm aware, of which I know they've bottled up samples for people. So I don't know how many of those there is. So in terms of actual in bottle for ballot and release, there's only 100. Up for a ballot, there was over 1,200 entries for the 100 bottles. Wasn't lucky enough to get one myself. I would really like one because I think that looks sharp as anything.
I tell you what, that it's like something you'd find in Robinson Crusoe with a map on it and all the rest of it. And you know, it reminds me of the cantina from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That's what it reminds me of. You know, when they find the coach with them on it. Look at that there. Look at that there.
It was designed by whiskeycraft.ie, by the way. If you go and you can see them doing it. It looks like a sort of miniature cask with a glass heads on it. I think that looks really sharp. Really sharp. That's well done. That is well done.
It is.
Was €300 a bottle. First legal whiskey in Donegal since 1841. Very smoky, very peated, apparently. We'll have to see that. So huge congratulations to everybody down there, especially James and Moira. You couldn't meet two nicer people. Just a really, really nice thing. So I'm really happy for them. I know it's been a trial we've talked about this before. We know that they were going to build it down at another site, and that all had this whole hoo-ha, blah, 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 blah. Got up, built this beautiful distillery, fantastic, unique stills, and have a clear vision of what they want to do. Heavily peated Irish Ulster style whiskey, and that's in itself is a little bit unusual for what some of the other distilleries seem to be doing. They have that vision, right? This is what we're going to set out to make, and all the roadblocks that have come out, and then they come up with this beautiful presentation. So.
You mean a lot of the other people are going for the commercial sweet whiskey that's for the American market?
That's not necessarily what I mean. What I mean is there's lots of people doing stuff where they want to get the whiskey up off the ground, and they are doing little bits and pieces, and they're sourcing stuff that James is doing, is silky and all that kind of jazz. But it's the fact that he has this is the definite path we want to do. We want to really get that smoky Ulster style whiskey, and we want to do it in a different way, and we want to keep it like that. So yeah, it's. I think some of the other ones, the other distilleries we'll make a single malt, and we'll get it out, and this is what we're going to do. And the branding's really good, bad, up, down, whatever it's going to be. But to have that vision that James has had from day one, and Moira, I should say, from day one, I take my hat off to them because it looks fantastic. And we all know, I think we all really like everything that they're doing down there.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Lovely stuff.
Mm.
So we've got ahead because there's good news from a guy. Well, you met his mate the other week, and you met him earlier on the year as well, or late.
Who?
The Admiral.
Oh yes, we were talking about the Navy. Yeah. Speaking of Navy, my good friends over at the Tobacco Barn Distillery, I have a bottle of their Tobacco Barn 700 mile an hour bourbon. This is one for my collection, by the way. This is the one.
Hold on, they put it on screen. Hold on. There you go. There you go.
This is one that I'll not be opening. This is the whiskey that did 700 miles an hour in cask on a Harrier jump jet. Brilliant. I was so lucky that to go over and meet them tail end of last year. That's the Tobacco Barn Distillery in Maryland, because drum roll, please. Because they have just been voted the best farmer distiller in the whole of America by the American Craft Spirits Award, which is a huge accomplishment, because the amount of craft distilleries that there are in the States these days, and to be voted the best single farm distillery in the ACSA, I have to take my hat off to them. Huge congratulations to them too. They are, if you know the people, if you ever get a chance to go, they call it the birthplace of bourbon, because Basil Hayden is one of the guys that's sort of credited with coming up with bourbon. Sometimes it's referred to as being the father of bourbon. He was from the county that they're from. The beginnings of the whole Irish whiskey or American whiskey industry really starts in and around Maryland. That's where the first distilleries were set up. So that's what they say. So, if there hadn't been for a number of events where they end up, a lot of the guys that were distillers there moved across, then that's really where the home of American whiskey would be. So yeah, they've got the voted the best farm distillery in America.
Andy's asking, how did they get a cask in a Harrier? They actually hung it in the Bombay pods, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Andy, there's a video. If you go onto their website, the Tobacco Barn Distillery, what they did, they got a Sea Harrier, strapped 4 casks, 2 in each of the payload, and flew it at 700 miles an hour. If you ever get to meet these guys, we'll have to interview them again sometime soon, because they are a little bit crazy. Some of the nicest guys you ever met.
Because they expected leakage because of the pressure of moving forward at 700 miles an hour.
Well, it's not that. They set a number of records, because on the back of this bottle, it tells you some of the stuff that. Hang on, put the glasses on, that way we can see it better. Tobacco Barn Sea Harrier. 3 bourbon aviation records. So it was flown at 637 miles an hour. Right, it was aged for more than 3 years. It was the lowest pressure a whiskey's ever been aged at. It was the fastest that a whiskey's ever been flown at. And what's the other one? There's another one as well. I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what the other ones are. But it set these records, and whenever they said they brought it down, the whiskey was actually sort of black, because the pressure was so low. They weren't sure whether the cask would just leak all over the place or whatever, but it didn't. But honestly, you couldn't meet nicer people, and what they're doing is really, really cool. Really cool. One of them used to be an engineer for NASA, so they've got all this huge amount of telemetry, probably more than any distillery in the world. Every single data point is basically being checked. They've got Scott, who's a retired admiral and a little bit nuts, which is all the better. He's just one of those guys you couldn't help but like. Just a really, really nice guy. So he phoned me there last week to tell me a couple of things. That one of his friends was coming over for the Navy game, so I went and met him. I had lunch with him, discussing the match before the match. I haven't discussed the match since. Just didn't really feel the need. Didn't feel the need. But yeah. So yeah, better crack. But yeah, so it's fantastic that they got their award. But yeah, all good.
Well, what's next tonight? Remember, if you're watching, it's 22:25. We are live every Saturday night, 10 p.m. on YouTube, LinkedIn, Telegram, Twitch, Twitter, D Live, and wherever you get your podcast from. If it's appropriate to put it in audio only format, but a lot of what we do is visual, so it's best to watch it on
Yeah.
YouTube Live or at YouTube whenever you get a chance during the week.
Yes. Now, I've a wee bit of confusion there at the start. I got mixed up in the running order. Across the way, they've got planning has been passed for the new Witchburn distillery, which is going to be opening the old RAF base, Machrihanish.
I know. I think we'll probably get mixed up because we're talking about the Navy and the Air Force and all the rest of it.
Navy, Air Force, etc., etc. Yeah, so the RAF, the old RAF Machrihanish, it's been passed this week. So excellent.
And I know people that used to be stationed there, believe it or not. And what's the story with it? Where does the Witchburn name come from? Is that the name of a burn that's nearby?
Well, what they say on the website is that Witchburn comes from the witches used to be healers. They used to be people who made potions for healing. So healing and burn is water, like a little stream. So it's the healing waters. They're not allowed to say healing. You're not allowed to say that because you'd be hung out.
Oh yeah, that's like mountain climbing and whiskey don't go together, and
No,
being a beautiful person and whiskey doesn't go together.
No, you're not allowed any of that sort of stuff. You have to be all morbid and downtrodden.
But you're allowed to insinuate that witches are real and that the still arm can look like a witch's hat.
Exactly. They're still supposed to look like a witch's hat. Are they not doing something down in Island McGee, down William McKay?
They are
creating the trial or some bloody thing.
They're trying to say they were innocent, they were guilty as charged. Plus, you do know that if this was radio, we wouldn't be allowed to talk about witches as if they're real.
Why?
Because you aren't allowed to do witchcraft or hypnotism as if it's real. You have to lampoon it, tongue in cheek, in case anybody goes out and tries to get on a broomstick and fly with their cat and dies. Something like that.
Do you know where I'm going to tell you this. Do you know where the legend of witches being able to fly comes from? With a broomstick.
I don't know that one at all, honestly. Go on.
Every day's a school day, Justin. Because people who were accused of witchcraft normally were people that were doing sort of like homeopathic medicine or all that kind of stuff. That sort of natural medicine before it was pharmaceutical industries.
Yes. Yeah.
One of the things that they were able to do was make up hallucinogens, magic mushrooms, etc., etc.
Okay.
Right? And they used to make them up into a paste. Now, if you've ever ate magic mushrooms, not that I would ever have ate magic mushrooms at any point ever.
Please don't do this at home, folks.
Do not eat magic mushrooms at home, folks. Yes. But if you ever did try to eat a magic mushroom, they're not the tastiest things in the world. Okay? So, the ladies who were making up the things and making hallucinogenic substances into a paste had to figure out a way of applying them and inducing them into their body.
Are we going to get Zuckerberg when you tell them how they got them into their body?
No. Okay. Because, shall we say, it was a strange delivery method, but the end of the broom shaft would get pasted with it. And then was the delivery method.
Okay, right.
Right? After which they thought they could fly. So that's where the legend of the broomsticks making witches think they could fly came from.
I know. I don't know why they just didn't get a Harrier jump jet and be done with it, and that would have saved the problem. You can get 2-seat ones.
Well, I don't know whether you can get 2-seat.
You can.
You have to go to a very specialist shop in Soho in London to get a 2-seater broomstick.
You can get your hands on. I've been there.
So, well, I wouldn't think you've been there. But no, so anyway, they're going to create 30 full-time jobs. It's going to be 2 million LPA, 2 million litres of pure alcohol a year, 100% renewable. The two other ones that are being built, the Machrihanish distillery is currently being built, and the Dalriata one is out for planning permission.
So overnight they're doubling the number of distilleries in Campbelltown.
And massively up in production. So yeah, Campbelltown, excellent. One of the
It's a
Why
great
people
trip.
don't know? Oh,
Great
it's a
trip. Great
super
trip.
wee place. It is super wee place. There's one of the best whiskey. Oh,
Oh.
cracking whiskey, cracking stuff. That is, love it. Anyway, so yeah, good on them. Good for them.
Now,
Now, next up, interview done by Joe McGowan, interviewing one of, I would argue this guy's one of the most, powerful is probably not the right word for it, but probably one of the most influential guys in Irish whiskey. Billy Layton, who's actually from Coleraine, but we'll not hold that against him. He's actually quite a nice guy because he's obviously moved out. But yeah, he did this interview. Joe interviews Billy Layton down in the Friend at Hand, and I have to say, a cracking interview. Billy's one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. He really is. He's a top man. And I have to say, the Friend at Hand just looks superb. It looks absolutely beautiful. Beautiful.
we'll give you a quick look at it, and we might put it out in full for you. If it's not going to beach ball, is it going to beach ball? It's beach balling.
Oh no.
It's a beach ball. It normally tells me it won't play if it's not going to play. But there's the link. You've got the link.
Well, you've got the link, guys.
Don't think it's going to play for us at all. So,
if anybody's interested in Irish whiskey, you really want to be listening to what the likes of Billy Layton. You know, it's a bit of a biography of Billy Layton. He is just, I mean, he's a font of knowledge. If you talk to anybody about Billy, they're always complimentary about him. I've met him. I've been lucky enough to meet him a few times, and he's just a really, really nice guy. Great interview, and I have to say, the Friend at Hand looks awesome. It just looks. I'm there all the time, and I still marvel at just how beautiful it is. You know,
the witchcraft must have been working because his ears must have been burning. There you go.
There you go. He's there himself. Well, one of them must be there. Even from the Tobacco Barn Distillery, all the way over in Maryland. I sometimes call it Maryland, just to annoy people from the States because they always want to correct you.
I know.
Which is, it's not Maryland, it's Maryland. So you go, all right.
Don't talk about food. Don't talk about food.
Oh, chicken Maryland.
I know. I love it. I know.
But you couldn't eat it all.
I was going to order it for Badness to Stanley's the other week. Somebody actually did order it and eat it.
Oh no, that's queer gutty, as you would say. Anyway, you know what was that last night? The Belfast tattoo, the military tattoo. It was superb. It was. I have to take my hat off to them. Fantastic. Really, really good.
I believe somebody related. My mum and dad were there today. I believe somebody rated it as highly as the Edinburgh one.
Yeah. Oh, I was talking to a couple of ones. It was just superb. It really was. For Notre Dame, the Irish don't beat Navy 77-0. Yes, they done. They done just proud. At least they got off the 0 mark there, Scott. But to be fair, Scott told me that Notre Dame was going to beat Navy. He just didn't say thrash them to pieces. But anyway, no. It's all good. All good. Now, last story of the evening, Justin. There's a bottle of whiskey has appeared on eBay, and it's a very rare 1901 J.T. Doris and Company Distillery 1 pint liquor bottle from the city of Bowling Green, Kentucky. Now, in the thing, it says the bottle is a true collectible for any liquor enthusiast. The clear glass bottle made by LC&R company, also known as Lambton, Crane and Ramey, from Louisville, Kentucky, features the iconic brand name and is a rare find for a collector. So, have you got the bottle there, Stanley? Or Stanley? Justin?
Stanley?
I've seen William McKenna has just said
I know.
Stanley.
I know. I thought you were going to say Dan Durr.
Yeah, you know, Danny DeVito, maybe. Danny
DeVito. Dr. Livingston, I presume. The bottle. The bottle or the eBay? The bottle.
Oh no! Put up the bottle first.
Okay.
Because this is a very rare bottle.
Yeah.
Looks the part. And to be fair, they are willing to ship it priority UPS Worldwide Express if you buy it. So yeah.
Okay.
So it's up there at the minute. You can buy it now or make an offer and stick it up there to see how much it's up for.
Uh,
$1 million.
oh no. No.
Yes, $1 million. Now, to be fair, I think if I paid $1 million for it, surely they could throw in the shipping for free. You know, it's because at the minute the shipping is $145.28.
How can they actually get away with that?
I
You think if it was worth that much, you would have to surely collect it yourself to be safe.
well, to be honest, uh, excuse me, if it's worth that much, why would you not put it into Sotheby's or something like that? Right? Would you really trust it going through eBay? I mean, let's be honest. You can't. You send off for a iPhone charger, and it burns down your house. You know, you know. Other reputable iPhone dealers are available on eBay. But let's be honest, you order a Petite Philippe watch from eBay, you're probably not going to get a genuine certificate of guarantee with it, right?
No.
No. So it's it's $1 million for a bot. Now, some if being legit and all that, I would really like that myself. But I think they could throw in the shipping at least. Anyway,
You
but
would like to think so. You would like to
that,
think so.
that is the news this week. I'm going to pour myself another one of these wonderful, wonderful Palo Cortado 10-year-old bottling from Dunval's. Just superb. That was in special offer too. 50 quid a bottle for nothing.
Right. Okay.
Lovely jubbly. So yes. Now, aye, last week we had a good old day last week, Justin, didn't we?
We really did. I really did. You got to see me run too as well.
That was probably the highlight of the whole thing. Justin running is something that's never hasn't been seen. I would say that's probably remember the time they took the photo of Bigfoot, and him walking away, looking over, sort of waving and all.
Yeah.
That was probably about the last time you ran. And around that time.
It maybe was. I was worried in case it got spotted in my gorilla suit. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we saw Justin run. He's felt ill since, right? Justin's come down with the lurgy. So I don't know whether the two of them are related. But
I know.
But so the day out we went down, we saw the Titanic distillery. It looks fantastic, doesn't it? I mean, the whole place just looks stunning. It really does. I think the job they've done down there is remarkable. We all go to see Justin run. It's something that'll live with me for a very, very long time. But yeah.
Well, actually, William has actually seen me transform from a gorilla into my normal clothes. So have you actually?
Yeah, that was. I did. I saw that. And Andy, we didn't get a free. Not all of us got a free glider.
Oh no! Everybody that was on the glider was over the senior citizens age.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes. Yeah, we all just jumped on and went across. That was a good idea. But yeah, so it was a good day out. We went down to the Titanic distillery, which I think everybody agrees just looked the part. It looked really, really well. Jumped the glider over to McHugh's, where we had a wee tasting that I did. I think some people have maybe never tried any of that kind of thing. And I said to everybody, it's well worth trying different bits of food with your whiskey. Done that. Then we went round to Frame in Hand, where everybody showed everybody around it and showed them some of the amazing stuff that's in there. Then that's right. We went and jumped on the train, which seemed to take a lifetime to get up.
No, I thought it was a fantastic day. It sort of flowed wonderfully, I thought, but there you go.
And then we marched around, went to Stanley's. We got the first Chinese single malt export from China. which
Right.
I thought was okay. It was competently made. It wasn't brilliant by any stretch of the imagination, but it was competently made. Bite of something to eat, and then I opened the big bottle. We all got a decent half an out of it. So yeah, but
Here's what you missed.
one of the highlights of the day was this man came down to say hello to us. He came down to have a little chat with us, tell us his story. Not the day before, he was being interviewed by NBC or one of those big news stations in the States, and then he comes down to say a few words with us. One of the nice, I mean, a really, really genuinely nice guy. So Justin recorded it, and this is Peter Lavery telling us some of the inside scoop, if you like, on the Titanic distillery.
Introduction, and more importantly, thank you all for coming here. This is most important again too. It's been a labour of love for a long, long time. I've been in the whisky business for nearly 20 years, and nearly built a whisky distillery in Crumlin Road Jail till I had a load of asbestos that put the end to it for me, and I sold my Crumlin Road venture and McConnell's and Danny Boy, which I'm sorry I'd lost Danny Boy, but they wouldn't take it without taking Danny Boy with them. So Danny Boy had to go and kept Titanic. But in many ways, I was born as a bird would fly from here, less than 30 seconds from here, a place called Short Strand, and East Belfast, man. So Crumlin Road Jail's North Belfast. So I'm glad I'm really back in the east where I really come from. So that made it a wee bit more sweeter. So after losing the Crum and starting all over again, like 7.5 years of preparation with Crumlin Road Jail also, because that's an our heritage building. You're dealing with walls or build that thick to stop a man from jetting out and stuff like that there, you know. And it was the first time Crumlin Road Jail was bringing us to Crumlin Road Jail. They made Crumlin Road Jail for years, you know. So the only thing they didn't pay duty on, they didn't pay for it, you know. But this has been a labour of love. But this building was sitting, and I couldn't believe it. But I hadn't a long-term lease on it. And it took about a year and a half to negotiate the lease on the building. That's how long it took to get the lease. Then the bother says, start talking to planners, heritage, monuments, and you name it. And the first day I met the heritage people, your mom chased me out of the room. And he just said, there's no way, because we wanted to put an extension on to the back of it, because the building is beautiful. The building has everything we wanted it. But the building, in my estimation, was 3,000 to 4,000 square feet too small. But I had to readjust, say, they're not that is extended. Can we work within it? Can we do it? Can we scale the size down? We'd have had double the size of stills in there if I had the room to go, because we need more tanks that make it. So it was one of them things. So we had to rescale it back again. Then I had to think it's going to be worth it. It's going to be enough to do me what we want to do, and that's why we end up outside here with our eating facilities and stuff like that there, because we wanted a nice tasting room inside, and we wanted to have, and there's no other room. The shop is built like the old tool shop in the shipyard, where you see the cage, the handle of the door. That's because if the men didn't sign for the tools, they stole them. So if you wanted a spanner, you wanted a hammer, they had to sign for it in the morning and bring it back at night. So that's why we done the shop exactly as the stores. So everything, we try to do everything, the details, keep it as much. And believe it or not, the engineers and the architect, in my estimation, have done a superb job. And more importantly, we didn't move one thing from 1909. There's not one piece of machinery, pipe, or anything had to be moved outside there. Big massive hole downstairs, just we used it, we put 2 floors of steel in it. And the beauty was, the crane from 1909, and it's a Frenchman who built our distillery, Frederico. And he goes to me, Peter, I need a crane. I says, you've got a crane. He goes, but that crane's 100 years old. I says, I know, but still there, you know. And we got the crane recertified. And we got it lifted what could be used again as a working crane. And so Fred came, the first brew tank came, Fred came and said, Peter, can you give me the controls of the crane? That's good news, you, Fred. You're the controls of the crane, there's 2 handles on it. There's no engine in it, one for going across and one for bringing you down. And his words were to me in French, I was like, you fucking didn't tell me that, you know. You know, so, but like this year alone, up to now, I'm only open the doors for 13, 14 weeks, we'll put about 17, 18,000 people through here. It's only the last 2 weeks we're starting making whiskey here. If we get our maximum numbers of visitors a year is going to be 150,000 people a year for daytime business. The only growth we'll have here is nighttime. Titanic Belfast are working with us hand in hand, which is great. And next year we'll do a JV, we'll do a joint ticket with them. They have 800,000 visitors. I'm convinced, my eyes closed, next year we will hit our target of 150,000 visitors. So the only growth market I see in here is our nighttime corporate. Yeah. And the other growth market is our blend will always come from the dock. We'll never, our pure malt will always be here. Our blend will always come from the dock. It's a showcase. You've got a home of your Irish whiskey and all that there.
Are you going to call your own blend? Are you going to make a distinction between what you make as opposed to what you blend? It's all going to be Titanic, or will it be distinct?
It's going to be all done on the Titanic brand. Why would I want to change the blend name from the different name to start remarketing it again? So you want to keep you.
Differentiate between the blended stuff you're buying in and the stuff you're actually making.
But eventually we can maybe use some of our own malt, a small part of our own malt into it, so we can mingle it. We'll play it by ear. And there's nothing to say within years to come. Let's see, hey, we have £8 million sitting there at the minute. I mean, even for us to go forward, like there's two or three importers in America want to take us right away. They're talking about 1 million barrels of whiskey a year. 1 million barrels, and they're quite happy what's coming from Dundalk, so they're not in. But people want to come and see the real home of the Titanic's going to be here. But our malt whiskey will be, no, it's the same as our vodka. It's going to be off site. But to start chopping and changing to try and make it, you'll be lost more time cleaning, and it's the same as our gin. But whiskey studies in Scotland, I want to tell you, like oil men, the trade back and forward, we all trade, and you know, so.
How do you screw yourselves in the sense that, you know, when you're on the tour in your own head, 1 minute you feel like I'm on a shipyard history tour, then actually no, I'm on a whiskey tour, and then it sort of blends into the two, and it's an interesting model. What do you see as your primary? Is it as a tourist location, or is it at a whiskey distiller?
It's a whiskey distillery. That's what we've turned it into.
Yeah.
But I think if the past is sitting there, I think it's very, very important to show the history of Belfast, the past of it also, you know. And people know whiskey's not new in Belfast. Whiskey's as old, not as old as shipbuilding, but it was old, you know. And so I think the building's the right location for it. I think it's a proper place. People come in, they're amazed. Anybody was showed it to, that one actually is it a 50-50 tour here. We're trying to tell the history of building, but then the men who built the Titanic all loved the whiskey, didn't they? So they all had a couple or two, you know. So but
another boy that drank a lot of whiskey back in the day, not so much anymore, to be fair.
I drink Rosie Lee now. I drink tea now, you know. I had to say, when I turned the stills on, when I got the first drop the other day, a tear hit my eye. I think it's just after a long journey, the belief of saying, yeah, it's really happened, and we're standing in this building here. So it was an amazing feeling.
Start to finish, how long was that for you?
It's 5.5 years. 5.5 years journey. And get from blood, sweat, and tears. Not years, tears from my point on, you know.
That's after the crumb as well. It's even longer journey.
But we've had anybody we've had, touch wood, anybody we've had down here at the minute, they've all enjoyed the building, like the nature of the building. I think it's good to marry both. I think it really is good to marry both, so it is, you know. So, but that's a crack of it, only.
What took you, I mean, like, literally from the outset, whiskey was something you wanted. I mean, why was that
I bought Danny Boy whiskey brown one night drunk. And I bought my first pub drunk too. I was standing in the pub. I was standing in the bar in Belfast one night, and a man the bar was called the Arizona Bar, and how it was called Arizona it's now at the Haymarket in Belfast. It's a very famous pub. This man started off life in America as a priest in Arizona, so he called the bar, and then he left the priesthood and got married. And you'll see his son on TV talking all the time. A fellow called Chris Donnelly, he's a commentator on political stories, but so his father was called Desi Donnelly. And one Thursday night, I was in Desi Donnelly's bar. I never stayed in one pub. I walked down every pub. I went from pub to pub. I pub crawled, didn't some pub sit. And started having a drink. The bar was completely dead. And he goes to me one day, he says, I'm going to sell this third bar. And I said, well, sure, I'll bet off you. And I give him a number, and I was now in bed drunk the next morning. He rang me back, son, you bought my pub last night. So that's how I ended up in Arizona. And Danny Boy whiskey was something similar. It was two fellas. George Larmer and another fellow had came, and they were away at the World Cup rugby, and they're coming back through Japan, and the plane was delayed by about 9 hours, and so what they do was about 7 80 Irishmen sitting in the post all in the airport pub, and they're sitting drinking away. Next minute the sing song started, and next minute they started singing Donny Boy, and everybody in Japan was singing Donny Boy. And they couldn't believe it. And they came back and registered their name, Donny Boy Irish Whiskey. That's how Donny Boy Irish Whiskey was committed Woodhops. And they went to the days of Leju days, and everything you done with Leju, you had to make it. Either making glasses for hot whiskies or Irish coffees. There's what's their name? The small business agency. They made you make a glass. I could have bought the glass in from China for 50 pence at the time. They were making it here, it cost them £2.50. You know what I mean? Because they didn't scrape it, and all that there. And what they done was they registered the name all around the globe and all this here. The obviously butter put whiskey in the bottles, and the way it went was not as simple as that, you know. And quite soon they realised they were running out of money, and they put their two houses on the hoof for it, and the bank started putting the pressure on them. And he asked me to invest in it, and I was going to invest in it, and same thing. Then my accountant looked at it, he goes, "There's no money in this company here, and the only way this company's going to grow is somebody has to put the money. So if you're buying half of it, what happens? You need another £100,000. They haven't got £50,000, so you put it in. So where's it going to go?" So I said, "Lads, I've been advised not to bet," and they got back and they begged me to bet, and I bought it off them and saved their houses. But then 25 years ago, 20 years ago, Irish whiskey wasn't as sexy around the world. My first 4 containers in America, I never made a cent. Not 1 cent did I make. Because the time you get the importer, then they wanted so much money for marketing. But I done the different deal I done was, I say what, I'm not taking no profit on the first 4 containers, I'll give you my cost. But I had to send that whiskey to America, wait 90 days till I sell it and got my money back. So it actually cost me, every container cost me £4,500, the first 4 containers, because it's paying the duty, it's paying the upfront cost of buying it from John Taylor, battling it, putting it in the container, sending it, and waiting on 90 days. First 4 containers in America cost me a gut of £20,000 to put it into America. Flew over a few times, done a few others, it probably cost me £50,000, £60,000. The 5th container, I made £44,000 on.
Wow.
That's what happened there.
Wow.
So, but it's a lot of outlets. The same as us here. Right? It's like we go to United Wines. It's better for me to sell a bottle of whiskey at that shop and sell it in Tesco's. In Tesco's, I make £3 a bottle. In there, I make £13 a bottle. It's like selling 4 bottles out the street. So, the more tourists come to here, they buy a bottle. And that's why we don't even make coach tours, because we do the deal with coach tours, stuff like that there, because we can get to spend. I mean, it's a different scenario, you know. So it's been a journey and a half, but it's been. I'm glad the journey is going a different way now.
Has John Taylor been up?
John Taylor's been here.
What do you think? I'm sure he loved it.
He absolutely loved it. John Taylor's been. I've known John Taylor over 21 years myself, and he's been nothing but helpful. He's a man, for my eyes, who regenerated the Irish whiskey market. Jameson had it, Bush had it, but he brought everybody else into it, and it all grew. John's the new Dundalk G&D's making. He's expanding twice high again. That's how quick he's growing. I mean, and that's where he's going. That's where he's taking that to, you know. But I have a secret I can't tell here today. But an Ord Braun coming out very, very shortly, and we'll have to keep it under wraps and keys, you know. But no, not under this umbrella. It's completely different, you know. But no, this is now going to look after in a roundabout way. I done all the work. It's me done the work with the political parties, getting political, getting the backing, get the planning, get this here. We have a new CEO coming in very shortly, coming from across the water from Hannigan, who's been in the whiskey business himself for a long, long time. The team of people here will operate it, they'll run it. I'll be a face of it, and I'll be starting less an hour here, an hour here. Let me hear the day-to-day basis, and I'll go on a different level, and I'll grow on a different level. And this is just be the show. This is the showcase of the whole operation. You know.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
What about that? What about that? Fantastic, Marty.
Thank Peter for
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. It was nice for him to come down. He rang me to say during the week, he said, "Oh, I believe you've got a group coming down." And I said, "Yeah, I have." He says, "Oh, if I can, I'll come down." And he was supposed to go into a birthday party, but something happened to COVID or whatever. So he says, he rang me, he says, "Oh, you're still coming down? I'll come down and say hello to you." He's a really, really nice guy who sharp. I mean, he's clued in. But I laugh at him whenever he says, "I can make £3 in Tesco's or £13 in that shop in there." They've invested £8.5 million. I did a quick calculation. You only have to sell, that is £13, 650,000 bottles through the shop to recoup his money. So it sounds, oh, you're making £13 a bottle. He's £8.5 million into it. I mean, in terms of an investment, this is a colossal thing, but it looks fantastic. In terms of me and you being guides and tour leaders and stuff, there's a couple of things that I was on with them this week. Listen, I would just change that a little bit, maybe fix that a little bit, just to do a couple of wee things in terms of flow. But I think everybody was there. I think was impressed by what they've done.
I think they were. And certainly it's got a head start in a couple of other places in terms of location and, distilling whiskey 80 or 90 years after it was last done in Belfast. So,
well, in terms of brand recognition, I mean, is there anybody in the Western world that hasn't heard of the Titanic?
Well, hardly anybody, but at least one thing we know: you can't call it Olympic whiskey because the Olympic Committee already have Olympic trademarked.
No, well, they would have what you might call your man Summer Ranch. Oh no, he's gone now. It's not Summer Ranch. He would have you prosecute it and execute it for that. But yeah, I think that in terms of stuff, having Peter come down, he does genuinely want all that to succeed. He's committed. I mean, bloody hell, they're every time it took him to get it up. Trevor Watts was telling the story about the fish. For anyone who doesn't know, the fish was when they flooded. Pulled the ship in, had to open it up, fill it with water. Then what they did was they pumped all the water out. All the little fishies, they were all sitting at the bottom going like this. So the guys run in, smitey, throw it in a bag, take it home, fish for tea. That's what they used to do, yeah.
I know. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. There's another brand name for you. White Star Whiskey.
Who knows?
I think Cunard already have that one. Cunard own White Star brand.
You never know. You never know what these guys will come up with. But
I know.
White Star Whiskey, that would be a nice one, Heather. Yep. Did I see Heather's having a Lafroig tonight? Excellent. You'll have to try James Kilcar if you've won one.
If you won one, a visitor centre in a major city, winner chicken dinner, especially as people are willing to travel to discover the whiskey from around the world. I mean,
Yeah. Well, put it like this. I mean, Titanic Belfast, 850,000 visitors a year, and it's a few minutes down the road from it. HMS Caroline's over there as well. You've got people coming in for that. They've got the food and drink provision outside, which I think they'll probably develop a little bit. I mean, it's.
Well, what I like about the food and drink provision is you don't have to pay in to visit the distillery. Visit it, and there's loads of people walking down the Maritime Mile down there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the Maritime Festival's on next weekend. That's a good time to visit Titanic Distillers.
But I mean, pop your head over in, have a quick look. You'll not get the tour, but if you pop your head in, you can have a little look around, and it's a beautiful sight. And I was asked, not by Peter, by another guy, what do you think's the big attraction there? The big hole in the ground is just an amazing thing. I still marvel at the fact that all the original blocks and all are still there. All the things that Titanic actually sat on is all still there.
I walked under a sea cat there.
Aye.
And live to tell the tale.
I'll just tell a wee story about Harlan and Wolf. Do you know the way he says that people used to have to sign for the tools and otherwise they nicked them and took them home? I know a guy that worked in the shipyard, and he said that in the 1980s there was a big sort of evangelical movement went through it. So they were having like open air prayer meetings and stuff at lunchtime and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
And what they had was the management said, we'll have an amnesty of people who nicked stuff. Should they wish to bring it back, that there'd be no prosecution. So they got the preachers at these big open air prayer meetings to say, there's an amnesty if you wish to bring back the tools, just leave them in, nothing will ever be said. After a week and a half, they had to tell them to stop. There's so much stuff coming back, they had no room for it. Guys have been stealing
Is that
stuff
true? I've never heard that one before.
for decades. Boys were coming in with wheelbarrows full of stuff that they'd stolen.
Anchors from Olympic class ships,
Oh,
you know. Yeah.
So there's another story about the shipyards. I heard this one. A guy was off in the sick, and this was at a time when you could be sacked basically for being on the sick, and he'd been off for a couple of days, and his manager called round to see him, and the guy's wife opened the door, and the manager's there. He says, "Well, I've come to see Joey, see how he's doing." And the wife goes, "Oh, he's up the stairs. He's in bed. He's really not well." So the manager goes in, and as he walks in, there's a solid mahogany staircase, solid mahogany banisters. He's walking up, and there's a porthole window at the top. All the doors that just so happen to be exactly the same as the ones of like a White Star Liner. You know, the best of stuff inside the house. So he goes in, and Joey's lying there. "Oh, I'm not well. He says, "Oh, you're sick. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, sick. Will you be back? Oh, I'll be there on Monday. And the manager says, "Can I ask you one more thing?" "What is it, sir?" He says, "What time does she sail at?" When does she sail? Because basically the whole house was just nicked out of the shipyard.
I know. There you go. It saved it for the insurance claim at the bottom of the Atlantic.
That's it.
Aye.
But no, I think back in the day there was an awful lot of theft going on. I'd heard of guys running businesses and everything out of the shipyards at the time when there was no work on. They were
May
doing
or may not be true.
May or may not be true. Yes, other shipyard stories are available.
Yes.
But aye. But no, good day last week. Nice to see Peter. Titanic whiskey, excellent. I think we all agree.
Yeah.
It was a good day out. Yeah.
That's it. What a great show this week it is. Remember to comment, like, and share. If you want to buy us a coffee. It's very, very simple. Buy us a coffee, Irish whiskey. You can find us. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Telegram, LinkedIn, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can join us next time we go somewhere nice, which maybe sooner rather than later.
Well, we'll maybe see. Once we get the summer over and me and you are not as busy, then maybe see if we get something else.
We're into the fall. Autumn has arrived.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Night.
Bye-bye.